if any of you watch or read WXYZ in Michigan, you really should not do that because this headline that we see on the screen here is a blatant lie. It says Gretchen Whitmer says there is evidence protests spread COVID-19. Now, we know this was a lie because look at the published date on this, May 14th. What else happened on May 14th? Well, I published this video on my channel basically showing emphatically a press conference that Gretchen gave on May 13th, which said she did not have proof. Out of the horse's mouth herself, she was asked by a reporter in the press conference, a reporter, by the way, that was actually doing their job, and asked, you said on The View that you had evidence that the protesters spread the virus all around the state, and Gretchen said, oh, no, I don't actually have data to show that. Look, I got the video of the press conference right in the video. You can go find it on this channel and watch it for yourself. But the reason this is important, the reason it's important for the purpose of this video is that it looks like maybe some decisions that Gretchen has made has probably done more to spread the coronavirus in the state of Michigan than the protesters have. And I'm going to tell you what decisions those were and show you evidence that her decisions as governor in the state of Michigan probably did more to spread the virus around the state than people who got together to practice their First Amendment rights to peacefully assemble and protest what she's doing. So we're going to talk about that, but real quick before we get into it, listen, if you like the content I'm creating on this channel, I'm really trying to grow the audience for it, so hit subscribe, turn on those notifications, give it a thumbs up, share it out, especially you people in Michigan. I love Michiganders. You guys do not mess around, so it would really help me out, and I greatly appreciate it. All right, so how might have Gretchen spread the coronavirus? Well, let's look at this piece from the New York Times. What's behind the nursing home horror? After decades of mistreatment, older Americans are bearing the worst of the pandemic. We knew it from the beginning. A nursing home in Washington state was the center of the first known coronavirus outbreak in the United States. We knew that institutions caring for the elderly and disabled in close quarters would be particularly vulnerable during the pandemic. But we did not act. Personal protective equipment, special training, and extra staff went almost exclusively to our critical care facilities. Nursing homes got virtually nothing. Well, that's not entirely true. In New York and other places, we gave them patients and even nurses infected with the virus. The result has been a raging wildfire of infection and death. We don't have full reporting of anywhere close to all the deaths at this point, but the best estimates right now are that about half of those who have died from COVID-19 have been nursing home residents. I'm going to say that once more because that piece is important. About half of those who have died from COVID-19 have been nursing home residents. In some places, it's much more. Connecticut reported that nearly 90% of its COVID-related deaths between April 22nd and April 29th occurred in nursing homes. Now, let's look at Michigan though, because we don't want to make any assumptions. This is from Click on Detroit. Michigan considers change to controversial nursing home policy. Oh, what is that controversial nursing home policy? Well, we'll get into that in a sec, but there's some data here I just want to look at in this specific article. It says nursing home deaths related to COVID-19 account for 29% of all deaths in the state. And that's down, they had an original estimate at 49%, which is very, very high, but I'm going to go ahead and say that 29% of the deaths in the state is still pretty high. That's a good number. That's a good number. So what does this have to do with Gretchen? Well, this article here was published today, May 19th. Let's rewind about 8 days to May 11th. Click on Detroit again. Detroit lawmaker critical of Governor Whitmer's nursing home executive order. What does this executive order say, and why would they be critical of it? A Detroit Democrat is opposing Democrat, not Republican, Democrat. A Detroit Democrat is opposing Michigan Governor Whitmer's executive order requiring seniors who test positive for the coronavirus, COVID-19, to be brought to regional hubs. Seniors in nursing homes are among the highest risk for coronavirus. So we actually knew this then. We knew this. Michigan has been putting long-term care patients recovering from the virus in the same facilities with patients who don't have the virus. So Gretchen was taking healthy patients and sick patients, putting them in the same place by executive order in one of the worst possible places to be if you did not have the virus, if you wanted to not get it, in a nursing home. And we wonder why there have been more deaths. This is based on her executive order. This is not based on the protesters. This is based on her executive order. It's a policy that New York Governor Andrew Cuomo just changed in his state because of the high number of deaths. Whitmer issued an executive order last month that requires seniors who are positive for COVID-19 to be brought to the TCF Center in Detroit or to regional hubs, which are nursing homes where the state says there has to be separation of COVID-19 positive and negative patients. So that was on May 11th that a Democratic lawmaker spoke up in opposition to the executive order that Governor Gretchen Whitmer made about housing sick patients next to healthy patients or moderately healthy patients. I mean, we don't know what their health level is because they're in a nursing home and, who knows, they could have been sick with something else, but they didn't have the virus at the time. That doesn't seem to be a very good decision. Let's fast forward 2 more days, May 13th. Michigan's policy of housing COVID-19 nursing home patients with uninfected patients comes under scrutiny. Michigan's emergency policy of housing positive coronavirus patients, nursing home patients, and nursing homes with COVID negative patients is coming under scrutiny in Lansing. So there was even more people speaking up. This is a full week ago, folks. The Senate COVID-19 Oversight Committee, which had many questions for the Health and Human Services Department about Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer's emergency order. The order creates what they're calling regional hubs, expires on Wednesday, so tomorrow. Many members of the Senate Oversight Committee are calling for the governor to change policy, calling it an extraordinarily bad policy. Actually, I think that's tomorrow, right? Because that should have been tomorrow. That should be tomorrow. And then let's fast forward back to this article today. Michigan is considering a change to its controversial nursing home policy. So, even though we know that deaths are coming in nursing homes at a disproportionately high rate, it's a policy that New York Governor Andrew Cuomo just changed in his state because of the high number of deaths. This policy changed in New York State because it was causing so many deaths. This is on May 11th. In the Clicks on Detroit. Then on the 13th, more upheaval about this policy. It is now the 19th. The policy hasn't changed, but Gretchen is considering her options. Maybe she should be focused on that instead of possibly being in talks to be Joe Biden's vice president. What do you think, folks? Do you think if I were the governor of a major state that I would be focusing on getting healthy patients out of these nursing home facilities where they're much more likely to get sick? Or would I be focused on becoming vice president of the United States? This is in the New York Post. This is today, the 19th. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer in talks to become Joe Biden's VP, to the surprise of absolutely no one. Nope. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has confirmed she is in talks with Joe Biden's campaign to become his running mate as the race to join his ticket is reaching an unseen fever pitch, because we all know whoever joins his ticket has got a very good shot of becoming president. I've had a conversation with some folks, Whitmer said in a Tuesday morning interview on the Today Show. Good thing she's going on the Today Show instead of, doing her job and getting healthy patients away from sick people. Just a thought. It was just an opening conversation, and it's not something that I would call a professional, formalized vetting. A rising star in the Democratic Party who has garnered national headlines through her handling of the Wolverine State COVID-19 outbreak, Whitmer is considered one of several women on the shortlist to join Joe Biden's ticket. The 48-year-old governor joins Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth, who, according to a Senate colleague, was selected for an interview with the Biden camp over the role. Whitmer was quick, however, to downplay her angling for the job during the Today interview, with Michigan roiling from civil unrest. That's a little bit dramatic, isn't it? I mean, there was a protest yesterday. I watched it live on Facebook. If you want to know what these protests are like, by the way, they live streamed the entire protest yesterday. The live stream is up. You can go see what they're like. It was completely peaceful and, downright even civil. Michigan roiling from civil unrest over extensive coronavirus-related lockdowns. I'm making a little bit of time to stay connected with the campaign, but the most important thing I can do right now is to be governor of my home state. Gretchen, when you know that 29% of the deaths in your state are in nursing homes, and you know on May 11th, more than a week ago, that New York Governor Andrew Cuomo just changed the policy of housing healthy patients and sick patients together in nursing homes, then what in the holy hell is taking you so long to change this damn executive order? This is just common sense, folks. This is just common sense. But no, Gretchen has to go and spread lies about the people protesting, saying they're the ones spreading the virus around the state. It's not me. It couldn't possibly be me that's responsible for these additional deaths by housing healthy and sick people together and not being able to change this executive order when it is obviously a bad idea, when it's already been changed by another Democratic governor in another Democratic state. No. Blame the protesters, Gretch. Blame the protesters. Good plan.